Peak Cinema, back with you. It is your favorite podcast and mine back again for our second installment in the new feed. I hope everybody liked Jaws and have a chance to go back and do that. Take a listen to that as they've found our new logo, which is nice. It looks great. We should get some Peak Cinema shirts made at some point because that's pretty cool. Once again, like, subscribe. My name's Tim. I'm one of the hosts of the program along with Ryan Nelson Kane, my guy Rhino, and his lovely, talented, the resident feminist of the podcast. This is her time of year, the lovely and talented Lauren Nelson Kane here as well. Lauren, your month continues. Are you just in your element? Are you in a euphoric state? Where are you right now?
I will just let you know that I have lit a candle from a very witchy candle shop, and my windows are open even though it's like 45 degrees outside. So yeah, I'd say I'm in my element.
Windows open at 45. It's a Minnesota thing strictly, right? There's not going to be a lot of states where that's a thing. Yeah. I'm glad it's a thing here. It might be the one thing that keeps me in Minnesota for life. It's like, well, where else can I do this? Where else can I do this and feel right and feel normal?
Nothing is better than intentionally making a room cold and then covering yourself in like 4 layers of clothes. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
Just wearing a sweatshirt and being under a duvet, even though your room is like 30 degrees. It's the greatest. It's the greatest gift.
I've gone to, so we got the fan. And I go to the fan in the face. I've even gone to 2 fans sometimes because I just want to make it as cold as possible. And then I'll do 3 cold blankets, which makes it right. I'll do 3 blankets. I'll do 3 or 4. It's impressive.
I mean, like, come back and talk to me in January when it's buttfuck outside.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah.
And then I'll be mad. But this is something about like... Like 45 to 70 degrees is the perfect weather.
45 at night and like 65 during the day. There's really, God, I think that is the sweet spot of life. I really do. Like that might be when you step outside and go, it just doesn't get any better than this, does it? Because if the wind's not blowing, you could still wear shorts in the 60s. Like it's fine. You can wear shorts.
I mean, I wouldn't.
But
you know what? I'm always clamoring to wear as many layers as possible. So if I go outside and I have a t-shirt and a sweater over that t-shirt and a jacket and I'm wearing a long pair of jeans and socks and like boots and just like and a scarf and a hat and I'm not sweating, that's the perfect weather.
Yeah, and Ryan's the exact opposite. Ryan wants to wear the least amount of clothing possible, even on the coldest days. Ryan and I have had to have many discussions about the shorts, flip-flops when it's simply too cold. Yeah, it's January, and he's just like, you know what? I'm good right here. I'm good with the shorts and the flip-flops, and me and him have had to have conversations about that where I think it's a little bit over the line. It's a little too much, but he's the exact opposite of you and I, Lauren. Ryan?
I know what I'm about, son.
I mean, I think that he's just the dude year round.
Yeah, he kind of is.
I think that's his vibe.
Ryan is also just knee deep in a cannoli tonight. So I don't know what good he's going to be to you and I in this podcast because I can see him already. He just looks like he could be here. He could not be here. It's fine. Like he'd be all right anywhere right now. It just seems like you're real happy, Rhino.
Yeah, that's a word for it. This cannoli is delicious.
Make sure your mic is working. I think it's your, I'm picking up your computer microphone, or at least bring your mic down to you. Thank you very much. That's better.
I was a little hot last week, so I'm trying to.
Oh, but that's perfect right there. I think that's lovely what you just did right there.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, gosh, that's beautiful, Rhino. That's awesome. You sound great. All right. Peak Cinema. It is October. And when it's October on Peak Cinema, at least in the past, and now certainly for our new audience, it's October, which means Lauren has a run of the spooky season, and she just fills us up with horror movies. And because Ryan is married to Lauren and has no vote, I lose 2-1 on most of these movie selections. So tonight, actually, this one wasn't as bad. I was a little worried about this one because I'm old and I haven't seen every movie, if it's 2013, 2014 and newer, there's a chance I haven't seen it, right? Because my wheelhouse is 80s, 90s, early 2000s. That's really the wheelhouse of my films. And even some 70s. I wasn't even born then, but I've enjoyed some 70s films. So The Conjuring is what we're watching tonight. The original Conjuring from 2013, starring Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, and Ron Livingston. Would you say to yourself, who? Well, these are all like actors where I like to call them like that guy actors. Like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. That guy's in that one. Oh yeah, I've seen that guy. He's in that movie. That's what all these actors are in this movie. It's just a whole bunch of, oh yeah, it's the chick from The Thing. I've seen her in that, right? That's what it is. That's what this movie is. And that's what I felt the minute I started watching it. I'm like, oh, the chick from the Norman Bates movie, the Bates Motel show on AMC. Oh, the chick from Up in the Air. Oh, the guy from That Thing You Do. That's what I was doing basically the entire... No, I mean, the guy from Office Space. Office Space. That's who it was. Ron Livingston, Office Space.
Oh, see, I know Ron. I mean, obviously I know him from Office Space, but I was trying to make several Sex and the City jokes last night when we were watching.
Oh, yeah.
This. And nobody understood what I was talking about. There need to be more Carrie Bradshaw fans on this podcast. I am alone. I'm on an island there.
Yes.
But this is really such a good movie. And let me make something clear. I did not pick this movie. I did, however, force Ryan to pick a scary movie and not just anything.
That's what I'm saying. You totally you had him in a hammerlock. He said, you will pick this movie. He was in a full Nelson and he had no choice. It's October. You have to pick a scary movie. He picked a movie originally that was so barely tangentially a tiny bit related to the concept of Halloween that you got to pick something else. You got to pick something else. So he chose this one.
Let me be really clear how little I give a shit.
So he chose this one.
I just want to be so crystal clear that truly couldn't care less.
Anyway, here we are tonight talking about The Conjuring from 2013. And I guess before we get into some of the thoughts of the film, I will say like this film maybe one of the last great franchises that we've seen in the last handful of years. This franchise has made $2.4 billion over the course of all of its movies, which I think they're up to, is it 5? No, how many Conjurings are there?
They have the 4th one, I think, is out right now, like in theaters right now.
Yes.
Allegedly, this is the last one, although I've heard mumblings of a 5th.
They've called this Last Rites, so I would hope this is the last one. Otherwise, it feels like a bad marketing.
I mean, I thought the last one was the last one, you know?
That's fair, too. That's fair, too.
And this is this is a franchise that it's like, what do we mean when we say great, you know? It's
successful.
made a lot of money. Yeah.
Successful. I think successful might be a better word than great, right? Yeah. Successful might be. Because it's very successful. Very successful. And not a lot of film franchises you can say outside of maybe Marvel over the last decade and a half can say that they have been successful across the board. Yeah. To have the amount of money that this movie franchise has made back for what they've invested in, there are not a lot of studios that are getting that kind of payback for what they're putting out. So in that regard, really interesting film in that place.
Yeah, yeah. And I find it so fascinating that they chose this because um like this, I love this movie. I think that it is widely regarded as one of the better horror movies of the last decade. Um decade plus now, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Getting old.
But it's a pretty standard haunted house movie, but the scares are just that effective and the performances are just that good. But there was just enough in it that they thought that they could milk not just a sequel, but a whole universe out of it. And the fact that it's been successful is actually kind of crazy. This isn't like based on some kind of existing IP like a Marvel or a DC or something like that. These were real people.
Yeah.
It's just based on human people. And half this shit did not happen. Of course it didn't happen, but nobody cares. It's just fun. It's just fun, man.
I did think about this because, every time somebody puts out, like a horror movie or a new thing came out, like I remember The Sixth Sense and I remember, all of these Blair Witch, I kind of came out in that time period. That's where my middle school, high school days are those days. And every time one of those movies would come out, they'd be like, oh, this is revolutionary, groundbreaking. This is the greatest horror film ever made, greatest suspense movie ever made. And I always watched it and went, no, it's not. Like, it's not revolutionary. It's not new. It's not different. And that's the same thing with this one, too. I would say that it's not revolutionary. It's not new. It's not different. But what I will say it is it knows the formula for a horror movie and it executes the formula well. And I don't think we give enough credit always to those kinds of movies that just like know what they are and they execute that, right? Me and Ryan talk about this all the time in sports. Like, we always appreciate a sports team that just knows what they are and does it really, really well. And it doesn't have to be pretty or amazing or aesthetically whatever. It's just got to be like super effective. And that's what I'm in the mood for. Like, if I was in the mood for a horror film, I feel like I could go to this movie and it would check the boxes and I would walk out going, yep, got exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah.
I think this movie does that.
I think it does. And I'm like looking through the reviews at the time, and a lot of people agree this is a good movie, but they, some of the words used are kind of like derivative, and it's like, well, horror is kind of derivative, like there is a formula. This is satirized in the Scream franchise. There is a way of doing things in horror. So there's something about horror that like it makes you stress to watch, obviously, but there needs to be a comfort in the formula, in the format of the film, in order for you to have a good time. You need to know that you are expecting the unexpected, if that makes sense. So it's like, okay, I know this is a haunted house movie. I know that we're going to hit a couple points. I know that when I see a dog, it's going to die.
Yeah, damn it. I knew it. I hated it. God, hated that. Damn it.
I know that if there are little kids in the movie, that they're going to see little kid ghosts.
Well, you get the doll in the opening. I mean, Jesus Christ, with the doll thing. I mean, that's a mess.
Yes. I know when I see these things, I know to expect this kind of trope in the film. But that's not really what you're watching it for. You know that this is the formula. What you're watching it for is the journey. How do we get there? What are the scares? How effective are they? What is the story behind it? And I think this movie is like a masterclass in how to create a horror movie, because I really think that, I've seen it a billion times now, so it's not scary to me anymore. But when I saw this movie for the first time, and I am a pretty big horror aficionado, it scared the shit out of me. I was living with Ryan in Duluth at the time, and I called him and I was like, you better be home when I get home because I'm not sleeping by myself.
The jump scares were real for you, huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They were just really, really well done and effective. Not like jump scares and non-jump scares. None of the scares feel cheap. They all
Yeah.
feel very earned. Yeah, that's kind of what I love about it. It's the first time I watched it, it scared the shit out of me. The billionth time that I've seen it, I just kind of appreciate what they've done.
I think
It's
about
just so
this one
good.
because we watched one of these dark, kind of centered around kid character horror films last year when we watched Sinister.
Mhm.
And it makes me, so I kind of was trying to make those comparisons to the two. And where I think I liked this one more than I liked Sinister. And obviously, Sinister, I thought it was just like, I thought it was dark just to be like, I am going to make the darkest film humanly possible. And there's nothing you can, I'm going to give nightmares, period. I don't think, and that's where it deviates from the formula, right? It deviates in the regard that like it has moments where it could pull back and give us something different. Where I think this one does it, right? It gives us the jump scares. It gives us some of the you're right, the tropes, the mechanisms, the things like that. But it also allows you a second to kind of like go, oof, okay, little regroup now, and it gives you some of that. It's almost like, and that's where I felt like it was different. I didn't feel like it was a slog to watch versus Sinister, which I thought was really difficult to get through. And I think that's where this one is successful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I like Sinister, but I don't disagree with your assessment of it at all. I don't think it's the kind of movie that is for a casual viewer. Versus I do think there's an accessibility to The Conjuring, which is
Right.
probably why it's been so successful. I don't think that, the kind of people who watch Cannibal Holocaust would watch The Conjuring and be like, this is
That's a
cinema.
thing? What? That's a thing?
Don't even
You've watched it?
No, because I'm not insane. But like the kind of people who would like watch really hardcore, basically snuff films, who think
Yeah.
that those are horror movies. I don't think that they think that The Conjuring is like the end all be all. But I do think, much like Scream, there's like an appreciation for how good that it's done. And even when the movies in the overall franchise aren't very good, they're still kind of fun to watch because they're so good at this.
I think about it like haunted houses, because this is the time of year where you guys go to haunted houses and haunted hay rides and things like that. Although now you got the little one, I don't think you guys do as many haunted hay rides or houses as you used to.
I actually cannot do haunted houses.
No, neither of us can.
Because did you punch somebody in the face?
I got thrown out of a haunted house 15 years ago because I punched somebody. Didn't know that about myself. That was a learning experience. I apologize profusely to the actor, the poor 17-year-old kid that was dressed up. And I felt very bad about it. And I made it known that I felt very bad about it. But yeah, I can't do haunted houses.
Neither of us can. I hate them, actually. I keep trying to do them and I've given up.
That feels so odd to me, Lauren, that you love these kinds of movies, even this haunted house kind of movie, and you wouldn't want to go out and duplicate that in this month. It's so crazy to me.
There's a screen, there's like a screen between me and the scares.
Yeah.
What I don't like about haunted houses is that they get in your fucking business.
They are right there. Yeah, they are in it.
And I hate that. I hate that. I was on a haunted hayride when I was in high school, maybe. And they like get on the little hayride thing and they like get in your face. And there's this guy like 2 inches from my face. And I looked at him and I was like, if I scream bloody murder, will you back off? I do not like it. I am not a fan. I need separation.
And it's interesting. I like to, so my analogy might be completely lost on you, but I'm going to try it anyway. There are haunted houses that you go to and they're just sort of like, it's a haunted house. There's scary little ghosts. Yeah, it's okay, fine. And that's great, right? It works. You might get a jump scare. You might get a reaction, but you don't feel like you're going to get like touched, groped. You're not going to get handled by the actors, right? You're kind of like, all right, I'm into this. Oh, he poked around the corner. All right, I scared. Ah, okay, I got one of those. Versus like that's where Sinister is like the immersive haunted house where all of a sudden like the soap factory where your head's underwater and all kinds of craziness is happening to you. I think that's the difference between these two films, and that's the best way I can describe it. Is like one is a good old fashioned haunted house, and one is like I'm practically committing assault. Those are the two.
And look, so long as you're in for the ride, neither one is bad. It's just like there are certain vibes for certain people, and if you're not a slightly more hardcore horror fan, Sinister is not going to be your jam. It's like very, very dark. But yeah, I mean, I think The Conjuring is really accessible in that way. I really don't know anybody who doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think I think this first one is great. Now, obviously, do I want to go out and watch the rest of them? I can't say that. But I certainly didn't have an issue with this because horror is not really my genre, really, right? So it's not, there's got to be I guess I'm more of a camp horror guy. So like Scream is great to me. Like I don't mind Scream. I don't mind, some of those other franchises that I really enjoyed in the late 90s. This one, it's good, but yeah, I think I could probably leave it right where I saw it here this time around. Although, by the way, postscript, I'm told that the folks at the Dead End Hayride are more handsy than they used to be. They're a little handsy. And I don't want I don't want handsy guys at the dang thing. I don't want my students, it's just weird. They come to me on Monday. I was at the Dead End Hayride and I was getting handled. People were like touching my head and stuff. I'm like, I don't want that. No. You can't touch my head.
Dude, like, prepare to get punched. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Prepare to get punched.
Somebody's going to die. I'm going to have to kill somebody.
Like, no, thank you. I hate that.
And I got a bald head. I can't have somebody's hand on there. I don't know I don't know where that's been. Come on.
Yes, the baldness of your head is really
that's the concern. Well, I would worry they'd think I was going to join in like it was The Hills Have Eyes or something like that. That's what I don't want. I don't want to be compared to that guy. You understand. That reference totally lost on Ryan. Some basic facts about the film, just so you know. July 19th, 2013, that's when it came out. James Wan, the director, known also for Saw, which is a movie we've done here on this podcast, and Insidious as well, another big film that he did, based on the real life. Now, this is the part, Lauren, where I was going to ask you more about this stuff. Based on the real life paranormal investigators of Ed and Lorraine Warren. You have Patrick Wilson, who plays Ed Warren, Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine Warren, Ron Livingston as Roger Perrin, and Lily Taylor as Carolyn Perrin. Those are the main actors. 5 kid actors, which my rule on kid actors, Lauren.
These are good. These kids are good.
These kid actors passed the test. I was okay with these kid actors. They did not bother me. I did not root for their death. This was okay. We found some kid actors who can do the job. This was solid work by them. Good job by them.
They were all pretty much fantastic, but among the cast is Joey King and Mackenzie. How do you pronounce her last name? Foy? Is it just Foy?
I'm going to look that up.
She was.
Foy. Mackenzie Foy.
For the uninitiated, that is Renesmee in the Twilight series, and I'm sure she's done other things, but that's what I know her weird CGI face from. But fantastic. All the kid actors in this are putting on a show. They're really doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
They kind of make it work. Yeah. I think if they stink, this movie dies. Like, it's no good without these kids being decent. And the fact that they pull it off is great. Give credit where the credit's due, because I think kid actors stink. You know how I feel about the Jurassic Park kids. I want them kids eaten every time I watch this thing. Like, me, I want Timmy to be electrocuted on that fence every single time without fail. I get mad when they revive him. Yeah, yes, educator. But you know what? I'll stand by that. I'm not walking that back.
This is why there's something about like kids in horror movies. I think it's like for really talented kid actors, I actually think it's a weirdly good place for them to start, because you get to showcase You get to be like a fun little kid, and then you also really get to showcase your dramatic chops. Like Joey King is so good in this movie. She is so good in this movie. And God, how old is she? She's got to be like 11, 12, maybe.
Yeah, pretty
She's
good.
Fantastic in this movie.
Excellent.
There's a moment in the film where she's looking behind a door, and we, the audience, can't see what's behind the door, but she's petrified. And that's one of the most suspenseful scenes in the entire movie. And it's completely her own performance. You can't even see anything.
Yeah, I bought it. I was totally on board. The kids were pretty good, and she was solid. You're right. I really thought there were moments where I was like, man, if these kids were bad actors, this movie would go downhill fast. But these kids are actually, like, I was able to suspend disbelief, which never happens, where I was like, I was in with these kids the whole time. It was really, really well done. Like, I really give it to them. Also, what do you make of the source material being based on the real life paranormal investigators? Because, you know, all the stuff I read is that these guys are charlatans.
Yeah.
But they make these guys out. And obviously some of that is just like, well, we got to make a movie here and we can't have it. But by all accounts, it seems like these guys are charlatans in real life, but they make these characters to be like pure and honest and high integrity and in it for the right reasons. All of that stuff. What do you make of, what do you kind of know about this story? And what do you think of the portrayal of Ed and Lorraine Warren?
I mean, I think the portrayal is obviously totally inaccurate to who they were as people. I think it would be conservative to say that they were wildly exploitative of the people who asked for their help. I think I tried to read up as much on this particular case as I could. And I read somewhere that they were eventually actually kicked out of the house. They did not end up exorcising anybody or anything from the home. So I'm actually not quite sure how it ended, because the Perones continued to live in the house for a while after these incidents. So I actually don't really know what happened. Like, anyways.
And the Perones stand by this, right? They stand by like the events of this story. I mean, whatever, whether that's been dramatized, whatever, but they stand by what they observed or saw in this house, right?
Yes. I think I've seen a lot of, so one of the Perones, one of the daughters, was a consultant on the film. They certainly dramatized a lot of it, and they truncated the time frame. It's only maybe like a couple months in the movie versus most of the incidents take place over the course of like a decade that they are in the home. But they stand by this. They say, as far as their experience in the home, that the movie is relatively accurate up until obviously the end,
like
of the
the
film.
exorcism at the end, right? Where it's just like crazy.
Yeah.
But you have to do that for dramatic effect, right?
Pretty much. I think they obviously had like the life rights to the Warrens. They had the permission of the Perone family. And I get the sense that both parties were perfectly fine with the story being told like a movie.
Yeah, you love the portrayal of it, right? If you're the Warrens, because it paints you in a pretty positive light, right?
Yeah. And Lorraine Warren is still alive when this film gets made. Ed had passed away maybe like 10-ish years prior. And so it's not exactly like you can have some some kind of conversation about like, well, maybe they weren't the greatest people, because Lorraine Warren is still alive and still allowing you to use her life rights. And so you have to paint them the way that they want to be painted.
Sure. It's like a Bohemian Rhapsodying of this story, right? Just, gloss over all the negative stuff and only focus on the good things.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But does the fact that it's a true story, does it add to you? Like, is that what makes the story work? Or is that what makes, like, do you think that's what made people go to see this movie, was the fact that there were some true elements to this in some way, shape, or form?
I think initially when the film came out, I do think it added, because I remember when this came out and I went to go see it and I was like, if any of this is true, any part of this story is true, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So I remember researching this when the movie came out, how much of this is true, because I think that audiences aren't stupid, and I think that they know that this is not a documentary, you know.
But
But I
they
do
didn't
think
know that about Blair Witch. It's the illusion that it might be real, I think, is part of the draw for people on
it
horror movies,
is.
don't you think?
It is. But the Blair Witch is a little less sensationalized
Sure.
than The Conjuring. The Blair Witch is believably like just a couple of kids with a camera.
Just part of
This
the
is
marketing campaign, right? They just
Yeah,
marketed that so perfectly that they nailed it.
exactly. This is a Warner Brothers movie. Patrick Wilson is in it. Ron Livingston is in it. Vera Farmiga is in it. Like people know who these people are. These are real
Sure.
actors, right?
Yep.
So you go into these based on a true story movies and you pretty much expect it to be dramatized. I think the interest comes in how much of this isn't dramatized. And
Right.
then people look into that. And so I do think it garnered some goodwill for Ed and Lorraine Warren in the final couple of years of Lorraine Warren's life. I do think that closer to after her passing away, then people started to be a little bit more honest about who they were as people, which is probably not great people, probably super dishonest people who took people for a ride. I mean, they have 4 Conjuring movies, and I think the second one like kind of mentions at the beginning their involvement in the Amityville horror, which is widely regarded to be a hoax. And it's like, okay, so the reason you didn't make a whole movie about this particular incredibly famous case is because everybody knows it's a hoax. And you
Mm.
know that they were involved, and you know that they were pushing for people to believe that this house was actually haunted. And that would make them look bad. So I'm not going to say that I think that these that these films are ethically made or accurate biopics of the Warrens.
But nobody ever said it was going to be, right? I don't think James
Yeah.
Wan stood up. I mean, it says based on true events or what they thought were true stories, but true story is a key term there, right? Is like, hey, real people said these things existed, right? So James Wan's just trying to make a movie. So there's a level of of course we're trying to be honest about what people are giving us for material, but we're also making a movie.
Yeah,
right. And
absolutely.
that's kind of an important thing too.
Absolutely. And I think I feel like I have to separate my feelings about these real life people with these movies, because they're not one for one biopics. And I guess I don't really care if they sucked as people. That's not why I'm watching this movie.
I waited to research. I did not research that right away. I wanted to just watch the film and just take the film as it was. And so I didn't go in with any of that sort of jadedness, because I was assuming that when you watched this movie first, when it came out in 2013, that you didn't do a lot of source material research or things like that. You just went to the movie. And so I try to treat the movie just like I try to treat everything that we do. I just tried to go in blind and let's just watch it and let's see. The backstory does make it more interesting for sure, because it adds a couple of additional layers that make you wonder some different stuff. One thing I'll point out about James Wan, I kind of dig, even though I'm not a horror movie guy, as you know, I kind of dig some of his stuff. Like, I think Saw is really good. I think some of the stuff he puts out is good, because I think he understands like classic horror movie or classic cinema, but he knows how to like put new, like it feels like a new fresh look on it. Like, he's true to the formula and he makes the formula work, but he also like presents you something different, right? Like, this one's a great example of that. Like, so we have the jump scares, which I think are more modern. I don't think the jump scare thing, if you watch like 70s horror films or 80 horror films, they're so different, right? So like, you get the jump scares, but you also get things like the slow camera movement around the corner, like you talked about. Like, that's classic 1970s technique, where you hold a shot for a long period of time and you kind of let it build. You let the tension build. Like we talked about Jaws 2 weeks ago. about how we let a moment kind of breathe, and we don't try to fill it up with lots of jump cuts and movements. We let things kind of happen. I felt like he does a really good job of that. Like, there are some really good moments where it's like, well, he's not moving the camera. Like, he's letting us watch it with this character. It's great. And I thought that was super effective.
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like he knows how to let a moment simmer. And that's what I mean when I say, like, it's not so much about the formula as it is about the journey of how we're going to get from A to B. These scares are all incredibly effective and very unique, especially at the time. The famous, like, I remember watching the trailer for this movie and being like, holy shit, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Which the trailer of the movie ends with Lily Taylor's character being locked in the basement and playing hide and clap, and those two little kid hands appearing out of nowhere behind her shoulder. That's got to be one of the most effective scares in the entire movie. That's
absolutely.
And like, this knowledge that she was left in there all night, just banging on the door, screaming after that. I mean, these are like real scares that people would really have. And even if your house is not haunted, you're not afraid of your house, being locked in your basement like that, letting your mind run wild. I mean, this is what makes it so effective, is that it feels like it could happen to you, or at least, you would go crazy enough to feel like it could happen to you.
It plays on those fears, right? Like, if you're a super claustrophobic person or whatever, like, you were in on that. And just the house itself, like the filming, especially like that first hide and clap scene where, like, they're ducking into these tiny corridors, and there's this little passage through the wall, and all these rooms feel like they're so small, and all these, and it's just like any old house. Like, I don't know how many old houses you've walked into, but I remember walking into like some of my friends' old houses and stuff like that, and you just felt like all the corridors are super cramped and super tight, and like, if you could hit the wall pretty easy if you don't take this hallway at the right. It's not an open concept thing at all, and it feels like you're very insulated, like it's very claustrophobic. The walls are very close in every one of these scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I also like about it is that the house in the daytime is not a scary house.
No, not at all.
The kids are not scary kids. There's no trope of like the dad not believing the mom or something like that. Like, everything about this is actually pretty idyllic. It's a beautiful home. It's a semi decent rendering of the real house that they lived in, which a ghost hunting show that I watch on the YouTube channel Watcher went there, and I remember thinking to myself, I kind of want to live here. it's actually like a beautiful house.
Ryan says no to that, by the way. He didn't shake his head right away, but I'm telling you, Ryan does not want to do that.
Of the two of us, I'm the one who has lived in a haunted house.
What? Yeah. You're saying your house is haunted, Ryan?
The house I grew up in Lino Lakes was absolutely haunted.
Yeah.
And Lauren, you buy that?
Yes, I do.
Because you went over there, I'm assuming, and you were like, yes, this is haunted, no doubt about it.
Yep. It was, because it was.
We had everyone in my family who lived in that house had paranormal experiences. And
like,
some
you
people
go to bed and your blankets would be above your head 4 feet in the next morning or something
no,
like that.
So
like they saw people.
My brother Jake felt something as he was sleeping lift his hips and drop them. And if you know my brother, he's not a small dude. So he felt that. He felt something tug on his feet, similar to what happened in the movie, actually, where he felt something tug on his feet like that. He woke up and he looked up, and there was what he described as a very angry-eyed, kind of dressed in overalls farmer staring at him very angrily. And it was just in kind of this back room of the house, kind of on the corner of the property. And my My brother's friend was staying over, and his head was on the left side of the couch, and from that side you could kind of see down the hallway into Jake and Joe's room because they were sharing a room at the same time. And
More out of self
that,
defense than anything at this point.
and we didn't know this was happening at the time, but his name was Nick, and Nick was sleeping, and he woke up and he saw on the cable box it was about 3:15 in the morning, and he bleary eyed, just kind of looks down the hallway, and from the upstairs, the entryway light at my parents' house was always on because they left the doors unlocked because we were all teenagers and we were coming and going all hours of the night. And they didn't really care as long as they knew where we were, but they didn't want to wait up for us. They didn't lock the door. So the light was kind of shining into Jake and Joe's room, and you could kind of see where Joe was sleeping. And Jake had come upstairs about 5 a.m. and told us that about what had happened that night. And Nick comes up at about 7, and they, not having talked, both described the same looking being of a tall, angry looking dude dressed like a farmer. And Nick described him as staring down at my other brother's bed. And then he turns and looks at Nick and sprints out of the room and kind of dissipates in the light coming from upstairs. And this was the same night that Jake had the experience. And
you say that they both saw this. They didn't speak to each other about this at any point in time, but they were both able to pick this vision.
No, Nick was sleeping when Jake came upstairs, and Jake told his story, and Nick came upstairs about an hour later and told this story, and they both described the same thing. And my mom went and did some digging. She went and looked it up, that that part of the house was on this farmer's land that had died like 70 years before, and that was the date of his death when this all happened. There was a number of things that happened in that house. We had a bee infestation out of nowhere, kind of in that haunted corner, and bugs are usually associated with paranormal activity. And the laundry room, kind of along that back side of the house, the laundry room had to jam the doors shut. And there was one night we were watching a horror movie downstairs, and all of a sudden,
what a horrible idea! I wouldn't do that. That'd be nothing but comedies.
Well, it was my choice.
Lauren sees this thing move from the fireplace across the room to the laundry room, and the laundry room door flies open.
Oh man! Lauren, is that totally factual? That happened?
Yes, it did.
Holy shit!
I can't even express and this is just like,
you almost broke up with Ryan that day, didn't you?
This is just there was a vibe in that house that was fucking awful. I hated being in that house. I can't tell you how many times we'd be like, in the basement watching a movie. Ryan like gets up to go to the bathroom or something, and I am alone in that basement, and I am just like, I need him to get back over here. Like I am uncomfortable being alone. It was
there was Lauren another time. Yeah,
Lauren just was taken by a ghost. Just happened right now. Did you see that?
There was another thing that happened where, like I was up by myself in the room that became Jake and Joe's. It was my room by myself.
Holy cow! That's so crazy.
There was something that happened in that room where I was on the phone with a friend. I had just gotten home, and I heard the sliding glass door open upstairs, kind of along the back wall of the house.
Really?
So it's a heavy.
This is fascinating. Door. I've never heard this before from you, Ryan. I didn't know that any of this. This is crazy.
Yeah, it was a heavy door, heavy glass door, and I was the only one awake. So I'm thinking, there's no way that anyone in my family is opening that up. And my parents are asleep, so I grabbed my baseball bat and I walked upstairs. And just thinking like, I'm going to run into somebody who's trying to get into the house, and I'm, we're just going to get him out of here, right? I'm not going to fuck around. It's 3 a.m.
I don't blame you.
And I walk up there, and the door is open. The door's open. So I shut the door, I lock it, I put our little bar down to lock the door physically so you cannot open it. And as I'm walking back downstairs, it's a split level house, 1970s build. And as you walk up the stairs on the left, so there's the kitchen, the living room on the right, and on the left, there's this kind of half hallway cutout where there's 3 doors. On the left is my parents' door, straight ahead is my sister's room, and on the right was the bathroom. In that little cutout, that little half hallway, at 3 a.m., I remember seeing just this oppressive darkness just kind of looming in the hallway. It looked like someone was standing in the hallway.
Holy shit.
And I paused for an indeterminate, it wasn't a long time. It was less than 30 seconds. But I paused and I looked at it and I just kind of felt my breath kind of pull from me. And then I just decided I'm not dealing with this right now. And I went downstairs and I went to bed. And I heard something walking around in my sister's room directly over my head.
Let's take a quick pause real fast because talking all of these ghosts, as soon as we mentioned it, we lost Lauren's connection. So we're going to give Lauren a chance to get back on the pod, and then we're going to keep going. Sure. Give us 1 second, and we'll be right back at it. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. We learned a valuable lesson. We cannot talk about haunted things and because we'll lose Lauren as soon as we do. Like, the spirits came in and basically took Lauren from us for a few minutes.
I want to point out, I have like a gig up, a gig down internet. Like, there's no reason that should have happened.
Something weird. I've never seen anything like that. Lauren's in the middle of telling this story, and all of a sudden, bam. She's like, I don't want to be alone. Next thing you know, me and Ryan are alone.
It just completely shut off. My computer's plugged in. It didn't die. It just shut the fuck off.
Lauren missed the retelling of the sliding glass door story at 3 a.m.
I'm fine. You know what? I'm fine.
You're good. We don't need that story again, right? Yeah, you should go back and listen to it when we play the podcast back over.
If anybody else is here with us, I bet they're great. I bet they're great people.
But this is like we'll come back to it at another time. But like the worst was when I was working at Honeywell. I have some horrifying stories from working.
Watch Ryan.
And let's talk about our favorite scene.
Yeah, Ryan's gonna lose this. We're gonna lose Ryan here in a minute. He's gonna disappear, and he's gonna be gone from this podcast very soon. Let's do favorite scenes. Favorite scenes. Let's go to that.
Ryan, that is starting to look crooked.
Where do you want to start with favorite scenes, Lauren? Why don't you go ahead and go first, just in case we lose you again? Let's do favorite scenes.
I will say all my favorite scenes are obviously different scares throughout the movie because there's a pretty like a decent plot behind here, but that's not why you're watching this movie. You're watching this movie because of the scares.
Sure.
My like hands down favorite scare of the whole movie is when the girls are sleeping and they look to the top of their closet and see Bathsheba, the witch, just like crouching up there and screaming at them. That is probably one of my favorite jump scares ever. And when I saw that in theaters, it scared the shit out of me. I could not get that image of her out of my head. And it's so unexpected because I feel like there are a couple of scenes where the girls are sleeping and they see something scary, but it's a little bit more of a slow burn. This was just like, oh my God, what's up there? The fucking witch just screeching at you. Oh my God, it just scared the living shit out of me.
That would be up there. I kind of liked the opening prologue because it was so different. I liked the doll and the two. I thought, I'm like, okay, that's a nice way to start this film. I really liked that. I liked the hide and clap game at the beginning, the first one, because we got a feel for the space. We got a feel for, we find this underground cellar and you think to yourself, okay, we're going to see something crazy. This is a scary moment. We're going to get our first big jump scare of the film, and it doesn't happen, but the tension is there and you're like, okay, It's like you keep waiting, and it doesn't pay off, but you're like, oh, but you get that first bubble of like what's coming. So I really liked how he kind of zagged right there, because you think all the pieces are there for a scare, for a jump moment, and he chose not to do it in that spot. But in that scene, he builds great tension. He builds some really cool scenery stuff. We got the spider stuff. We've got this. We've got this. We've got some things bubbling, which is great, right? And I kind of dug that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I gonna sing the praises of the second hide and clap scene, like I did a little bit earlier, so I don't have to go back into it. But that is so effective and so terrifying. Also, just like a kind of a small moment, but I think what's scary about it is that it's happening during the day. Lorraine and Ed Warren are outside helping the Perones like hang some laundry, and just kind of having a discussion about what they need to do there and whether or not she should be involved and whatever. And one of the sheets flies away and immediately lands on an apparition of some kind. And then the apparition dissipates. And I think what's terrifying about it is that it's so completely out of left field. It's the middle of the day. It's a beautiful day. The scene is about something else entirely. You're not even really thinking about that aspect of it. And then all of a sudden, boom, here it comes to scare the piss out of you. It's very good. I love this movie so much because you're right, because it builds so much tension, but because there are moments of levity and time to breathe. And sometimes in those moments, James Wan chooses to just scare the shit out of you anyways. And I kind of love it.
Yeah, those are good. I like those. Those are all kind of on my list. We've hit on sort of the 3 or 4 big ones there. Ryan, do you have anything additional to add on those?
No, I think that you hit the scenes that I really like in this movie a lot. I love the hide and clap scene. I think also the way that they build tension with the little the wind up toy with seeing the kid in the mirror. I think is you expect that you're going to see a jump scare there and you don't. One of the things that I love about horror is I run to kind of comedy as a comfort when I get uncomfortable.
Yep.
And so much of horror is just going the other way, right? It's, you build tension, you build tension, you build tension, and it's the same exact concept as comedy. You just go toward fear instead of humor. And it's fun to me to kind of look at these moments and think, how would I make this funny? If I were turning this into a comedy, how would I make this funny?
It shows you that there is that thin line, right? That you could flip these. If you don't accept the premise or you don't buy into the horror piece of it, it can become a comedy really fast, right? It can turn the other direction super quickly and get out of control. Like we saw that with Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
How fast those movies could turn from, how they could, if they wanted to, make that an uber scary film, or they can make it a comedy. And oftentimes they zagged and went to the side of like comedy, and they went to that, but it could have easily gone the other way if they could have gotten everybody to buy into that premise, I think. Right. I think the line's really close.
Yeah. I think tragedy and comedy are very close together, and it's all about tension and release, and it's all about timing. And there's even a couple of moments in this movie where they play with that. One of my I wouldn't say it's my favorite scene, but I think a good moment that illustrates this is Ed and Lorraine Warren are doing kind of their initial investigation. They have a sheriff on the property to kind of like, oversee them, so to speak. And then they have someone who works for them kind of setting up equipment. While they're explaining this and everyone is in the same room, a door opens and they immediately jump to, okay, we need to get this on film. This is evidence. And everyone is kind of waiting around the door, and the camera zooms in, and it's just the sheriff guy. He went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I think I think that that's always looming over it, and part of the anxiety of watching this film and other horror films in general is maybe a part of you hopes that it's funny and stupid and you'll be relieved, and that's why the release of the tension is going to scare you even if you expect a scare to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. I think you nailed it. I think we hit all of our favorite scenes. I think it's time for us to give out some awards here on the Peak Cinema podcast. Every time we do a movie, we have our own award show that we like to do. We've added some new ones this year. We unveiled some of them last week. Let's see how we do this week. Let's start with the Ryan Award for Best Use of Food or Drink. Ryan, do we have a nominee this week? Do we have something? I'll give you first shot. Did they use food much here? They
not
did.
Really.
They ate a pizza. They ate a pizza, right?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of use of food in this one. There's really not. I mean, unless you count, Bathsheba trying to eat the kids, but no, there's none of that. Nothing really food-wise here.
Best use of food in the film, some projectile blood vomit.
Oh, that's the one. So nobody wins that. So nobody wins the Ryan Award this week. Let's just say that.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins the Ryan Award. We'll try it again on the next film. We'll see what happens. Next one is the Quint Award for Best Death. Quint Award for Best Death. Who do we give this one to?
Now, this is interesting because I don't think a lot of people die.
No, I don't think a lot of people do.
I don't think there are a lot of deaths. The dog.
The dog. Yeah, the dog. Yeah, that's the one. That's the
dog.
one.
You know what? At least
Sadie.
the movie does us the favor of killing her off quickly, because if I got to know that dog, I would be fucking pissed. I am pissed. I hate when they kill dogs.
But the face that Sadie makes about not wanting to go into the house, like, what a good
Doesn't it
dog.
just break your heart?
It just pisses me. It makes me so mad, damn it.
They simply must stop putting dogs in horror movies. I know what
They
you're
must.
doing. I know what you're doing. Make it stop, okay? There's a horror movie that's coming out that I've talked to Ryan about, and I really want to see it because it looks good and it's getting decent reviews. It's called Good Boy, and the premise of the film is that it's all through the perspective of a dog whose owner is undergoing some kind of demonic possession. And look, man, I just don't think that I can emotionally handle that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that I can look at this dog being sad that its owner is being weird. I think it would make me cry. I don't think I could do it. So you know what? Stop killing dogs in horror movies. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, I want like a 10-year moratorium on that.
Yeah,
we got to declare something on that. I think we got to have some rules. It's time to score the score on a scale of 1 to John Williams. What do you rate the music here? Where do you go with this one?
I mean,
I think James Wan's kind of. I like his use of music, but almost more than his use of music, I appreciate his use of silence.
Yeah.
I think it's almost more important.
It's not.
He's got
really
some
a
nice
score.
moments where it kind of does build a little bit. Like he uses it well. It's not overwhelming and it's not iconic. You won't remember any of this, but it works. Like it doesn't have that Jaws thing, but it does. It's subtle enough, I think, that what it does add is effective. I think it works for what you have.
Yeah, I think I gave it like a 3 out of 10 because it's like it's not really a score. It's atmospheric.
Yes.
And it is effective. It's perfect for what it is. Like even just the atmospheric tones that they use throughout the film, like that's kind of burned in my memory. But I wouldn't necessarily call this
it's not memorable.
it's
score.
Not. Yes.
Yeah, it works, but it's not memorable. It's fine. Right. 5 out of 10. 5 out of John Williams.
Fun fact, though, the composer of this film and the composer of Insidious, he's worked with James Wan a couple of times, is the actor that plays Bathsheba.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that.
And also in Insidious, if you've seen that film, plays the red demon in Insidious. I have no idea why. But it's like a fun little fact.
There you go.
There you go.
Sebastian Stan, Carrie Fisher, or Selena Gomez. Would you want to replace anybody in this film with them?
No.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher, I don't want to buy her as some charlatan clairvoyant. That's not who Carrie Fisher is. It's not who Carrie Fisher is. It's not who Selena Gomez is. Yeah. Maybe Sebastian Stan is the dad in the Ron Livingston character. Maybe. But no, maybe.
But I think what works so well about this particular cast, I think it's very well cast. I think, like I said earlier, like everybody's kind of likable, which adds to the fear in the film. It's not like when you watch Paranormal Activity, you're like, man, I hope her boyfriend fucking kicks the bucket. What a douchebag. But when you watch this, it's like, oh, like Ron Livingston and Lily Taylor have like a real relationship, and all of these girls are really behaving like kids, like siblings, and Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson have a very loving relationship in the film, and
there's good chemistry.
Really
some good,
yeah,
it's really good chemistry in the actors. I think they did a nice job with this.
Absolutely. So I just wouldn't. I'm not sure that I would cast it any other way.
Would you like to see this as a reboot, a remake, or a 10-episode series on Hulu?
God, nothing. I think we've got enough.
We don't need a remake. So that's currently happening now. We don't need a reboot. We don't need to reboot the franchise. And you don't need to see this as a 10-episode series.
No. I think it's perfectly effective as like a less than 2-hour horror movie. This is not something that needs to be expanded. I would agree with you.
I would agree with you on that. I don't think I need 10 episodes. That's for damn sure. I think I'm good there. Who wins this movie? Who wins it? Who's the big winner?
The Warrens.
Big win for the Warrens. Yeah, big win for the real life Warrens. Huge win for them. That's a big win. Big loss for farmhouses. I would just say that.
Huge loss.
Yep. Big win for I think this is a big win for crummy basements, like for old school cellars. Kind of adds that vibe, I think it's a win for that. I think it's a win for Sellers.
A win for Sellers. I would argue it's a loss for Sellers.
It's a loss for Sellers. Okay, it's a loss for Sellers. I'm sorry. You know what it's a win for? Playing games in the house. Hide and seek, hide and clap, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a big win for those games. You want to play that in the house?
I think it is. I think it's a big win for everybody sleeping in one room to avoid the ghosts.
Yep. Big win for those. The freaked out, I'm going to sleep here tonight kind of vibe. Yep, it supports that vibe for sure. It does.
Big win for survival instincts. Great win for survival instincts. Good, genuinely good win for Warner Brothers. They have just milked this shit dry.
Couple bill is nice. I'm sure it's paid for many a failure in the years since at that studio. No doubt about it. Big loss for dogs in films. Because it's just, if I'm a dog, I'm like, I'm not going to take that role. I'm not going to be typecast as the dog that dies in the horror film. I'm not going to do it. I'm out.
No, that's offensive to dogs.
It's offensive to dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
I stand by that. It's offensive to dogs. How dare
Very good. I will say this. The kids today, I teach a class called Impact of Media, Lauren. I had a kid come up to me today because one of the latest assignments I'm doing is I'm kind of telling him about what I do, right? We're doing these podcasts and we're making commentary on media. And so I want the kids to create their own piece of media, commenting on something, whether it's a podcast or a video essay or something like that. And one kid comes up and goes, "Can we do a podcast on the human centipede?"
Oh, God.
I'm like, no, I don't want to hear 20 minutes of that. Like, you got to, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are like the socio-political ramifications you want to comment on in the Human Centipede?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what big message is being revealed in that one?
Oh my God.
Watch what you eat? I mean, I guess.
Kind of an anti-capitalist message, if we want to.
Ryan's able to turn this into some kind of fascist. You know what it does? It's fighting back at the authoritarian state that
by sewing people to each other's butts.
Now, the rich get to eat all the rich get to eat all the food, and it kind of trickles down to us in the form of shit.
There's the trickle down economics.
It just gets worse and worse, and
And at the front, and you don't know this, nobody knows this, at the front is Ronald Reagan.
Oh, oh my God.
Fun fact.
What a way to end the pod. I just thought I'd share that little note with you, Lauren, and this is what we got. Coming up next on Peak Cinema in a couple of weeks, we will have the last of our October spooky films, and then I promise some comedy. I'm throwing comedy out there. Ryan's going to help me throw some comedy out there. We're going to get back to basics here at the Peak Cinema pod, but the next one, we're going down the dark alley. Big time. I'm very concerned about my well-being and the next weeks. I'm loading up on my Lexapro here pretty hard for the next 2 weeks so I can be ready for this podcast. We're going to do Hereditary in the next 2 weeks. This is another Lauren gem. She's revved up and excited for it. Ryan and I need to double down on our meds pretty hard here to get through.
I've seen this movie. This is one of maybe the 5 scariest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be a mess. I'm already going to tell you that right now. I'm going to be a mess for the whole thing. It's not going to be great. We're going to struggle.
Watch it in the daytime.
Guess what? You know what? You know what you're going to get after this? I hate to be this one. You're going to get Fletch. You're getting Fletch in 4. I'm going to throw Fletch at you in the month of November now that you're doing this to me. You got to know that that's coming. We're going to do Chevy at his peak for 2 hours. It's going to happen.
Okay, well then it's just another podcast where I'm going to complain about Chevy Chase. So it's really up to you.
If you don't like Fletch, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like
you're really hitting Lauren's favorite pastime, which is hating Chevy Chase.
It's so easy.
Lauren, if you don't like Fletch, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I really don't.
I will take my lumps. I threatened either we can watch Hereditary or we can watch several movies for one podcast.
Yeah, we're doing Hereditary. We're going to do it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll get through it. It'll be fine. It'll be great. That might be I almost got to call Allison to come be the pinch hitter for me on that episode. I might just be like, hey, Allison, I'm going to the bullpen. You come in and do Hereditary with Ryan and Lauren. I'm sure she would. And you guys would kill it But all right, that's that for the podcast. Thanks for listening to Peak Cinema. Once again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend. We really would appreciate it. And go back, listen to Jaws. And the rest of the archive is coming. I'm working on that right now for Rhino, trying to get the big list so that we can transfer it over here to the new site so that you can have access to all of the previous episodes of Peak Cinema. We'll try to make them available as we go. Till next time, we appreciate you watching. Keep your head up. Keep listening. I should say keep listening. Keep your head up. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the movies. We'll see you next time on Peak Cinema. Thank you, everybody. Let me find our intro. Let me find our outro. See, look what happens when Lauren leaves the podcast. We lose everything. Here it is. We're out of here. See you guys.